A long time ago it seemed to me that the popular TV format was a screen with a 43-inch diagonal. But quite a lot of time has passed, and now I am simply convinced that the gold standard for home TV is precisely a 55-inch screen. It's really cool when a fairly large display also has 4K resolution for the sharpest picture. Well, the hero of our review, the Sharp 55GP6260E, also has a couple of cool technologies to enhance both image and sound quality. I've been living with this TV for about a week now, so I'll try to share more interesting information about it with you. Let's start the review of our Sharp. And by the way, the company also calls their TVs Aquos. So let's proceed to the review of the Sharp Aquos. After unpacking the huge box, you need to attach the metal legs to the TV. Each leg is secured with 2 screws. Also, if you don't have a stand or a place to put a TV that is 112 or preferably 115 centimeters in size, you have the option to mount this TV on the wall. There are mounting points for the Visa standard format of 400 by 300 millimeters, which will likely be very convenient for many. Once all the films are removed from the TV, you can turn it on and connect it. It has all the connections for both wired and wireless TV. Connections for various television formats, including digital and even a slot for decoders. The array of ports should be sufficient. According to the manufacturer, all 4 HDMI ports here support 4K 60Hz signal. Additionally, the first HDMI port also supports higher quality sound. An analog audio and video jack optical port, 2 USB ports, and a wired headphone jack are also available. Yes, I am that same old man who still likes to keep his remotes in plastic bags. By the way, the remote control here has a bunch of buttons, including quick access to services, and I am particularly interested in literally 2 of these buttons, which are YouTube and Netflix. My personal usage scenario for this TV literally comes down to switching between these 2 buttons. That's all. But over time I realized that I would still have to occasionally check the TV menu. I'll explain why a bit later. The TV's OS is Android TV 11. Another great aspect is specifically with Android TV. During the activation of this TV, I did not have to enter any data manually. Simply using a smartphone, I scanned the QR code on the screen and confirmed the transfer of my Google account details on the smartphone. By the way, the TV was also added to my smart home devices after this. In my case, I connected via 5 GHz Wi-Fi, and the TV also has Bluetooth version 4. Therefore, it is easy to connect both headphones and external speakers or a soundbar to it. The TV menu is simple and pleasant, and of course it can be customized to your liking. Access to the settings here is somewhat similar to the quick settings panel on smartphones. If you happen to watch cable or satellite TV, I can't help you much with that, but you probably already know how to use it. My approach is through apps. So I download a few essential apps, and I am ready to use the new device. By the way, since this is a true smart TV and also runs on Android, even old-school fans like me can install emulators for 8-bit and 16-bit retro consoles, connect a compatible Android joystick, and fully immerse themselves in childhood memories. Well, if pixelated images scare you too much, we'll talk about normal modern games a bit later. Please wait a moment and don't turn off the review. So, a lot is installed on the TV, and if once a year I need some TV channel, for example, to watch Euro 2024, then I will probably have to install an app like Megogo and pay for a subscription for the required period. Now a few words about the image. Well, first of all, the screen itself is virtually frameless. It's just a huge picture with a small strip at the bottom. The image is incredibly sharp. Even YouTube videos in 4K at 60 frames per second are impressively clear. Believe it or not, at some point I even specifically switched the picture to movie mode to make it softer and less bright. Of course, all the settings can also be adjusted manually, but the main thing is that the TV is capable of delivering a bright, clear, and vibrant picture from apps and broadcasts. By the way, hardware support for the H.265 standard, which is highly efficient, is provided here. This is a compressed image with high quality. The HLG image format is also supported, meaning that bright and accurate images can be transmitted with a wide color gamut. This concerns HDR content specifically. I apologize in advance if I am not precise in my wording, as I am simply trying to convey some boring technical and specification details in plain language. So feel free to correct me and clarify in the comments to this video. It's really cool that the TV supports HDR format. This means images with a higher level of brightness. In other words, roughly speaking, this light can be even brighter on such a screen. Such videos can be watched on YouTube, and there are plenty of them. You can also view them from external storage devices or even shoot them yourself. For example, the new iPhones can record videos in this format. The TV automatically detects HDR content on the screen and applies one of the color gamut settings modes automatically. Well, you can adjust its selection if needed. And I do this quite often, which is one of the reasons why I still have to go into the settings. Interestingly, when I activated my Netflix account here on the TV, it automatically suggested that I upgrade my plan to a higher quality one with up to Nido 4K resolution. But in reality, this TV has a cool smooth motion system that makes regular videos look like they were shot at 60 frames per second. The image is so smooth and vivid that I didn't even consider switching to a 4K plan because the picture already looks much more attractive than it actually is. Honestly, when you turn on this processing, it even seems like the sharpness is higher, although the resolution should actually remain unchanged. If you're suddenly curious about the hardware of this TV, here it is. Here, there is a MediaTek processor, 4 GB of storage, and 2 GB of RAM, and this hardware is sufficient to enhance the image quality. Another topic that interests me is the sound of the speakers. 2 loudspeakers of 10 watts each are hidden inside. They sound quite loud, but you shouldn't expect a lot of low frequencies here. What's really interesting is the automatic volume adjustment. This ensures that different sound sources are approximately the same level and don't accidentally startle you. And I also like the ability to make the voice louder in the settings. It's a really cool feature, I almost never turn it off. Because when, for example, an Asian person on Netflix speaks English with a British slang accent, it can really make your brain hurt. And increasing the dialogue volume helps a lot. This is another reason why I often go into the settings menu. I used to be skeptical about game mode options, but when I wanted to connect my console, it became clear that the game mode is indeed important. I have a Nintendo Switch OLED and it outputs full HD images. The gaming mode even slightly enhances the image clarity, which is nice, and it's important for games. Secondly, in this mode, there is no excessive processing that can cause a delay in the transmission of the picture to the TV. Additionally, the TV also has an automatic low latency mode, auto low latency mode. So, you can also enjoy gaming on this sharp, especially if you have a new PlayStation, or something even cooler, and the ability to stream in 4K. But when it comes to a modern smart TV, I literally don't care how its software is arranged. The main thing is that wireless content streaming to the TV works flawlessly here. And of course, there is support for video streaming via Chromecast. So, I can stream content from my smartphone. Whether it's Android or iPhone, it doesn't matter, even from a browser, even from streaming apps. And in this case, it doesn't matter where you get your content for streaming on the TV, although favorite apps can and probably should be installed directly on the TV for convenience. Well, I also think that many smart home device owners will find it convenient to control them through the TV remote. Since the TV supports a smart assistant and the remote has a microphone, you can, for example, turn the lights on and off. So, I've talked about all the cool features of this TV, but what about the downsides? There aren't many, in my opinion. First, there is a small amount of low frequencies in the sound, and second, the distance between the TV legs is quite large. I even had to bring a larger table from another room for the review.